Okay, people, so the Life List. This is the new film from Adam Brooks, who writes and directs the joint, right? It is produced by Liza Chazin. It's executive produced by Adam Brooks, Margaret Sherman, Kerry Orent, and Hutch Parker. Will Bates took care of the music, while we have Florian Ballahas on cinematography. Peter Teschner edits the piece, while Jodie Angestrich and Laura Rosenthal were down with casting. All right, production design is Lisa Myers. Art direction is Joseph Fernandez. Nikki Ritchie was set decoration. And Madeline Weeks is costume design. We got hair and makeup, all of that jazz. Alicia Zavarella, Anouk Sullivan, Connor Ryan, Tony Roman, Mallory Pace, Mandy Lyons, Sherry Kornhaber, Courtney Jarrell, Hannah Hu, Mara Palumbo Caps, and Adelina Atashi. Okay, so our cast. Who is in the film? Well, people, we have got Alex, played by Sofia Carson. Then we have her mum, Elizabeth, played by Connie Britton. There is Samuel. Gosh, yeah. But she's got brothers, and I think... Oh, no, Samuel is her dad. He is played by Jose Zangia. Her brother's Lucas, played by Dario Ladani-Sanchez. And Julian, played by Federico Rodriguez. I think Julian is married to Zoe, who's played by Marianne Rendon. And then there's Megan, who is married to Lucas, and she's played by Chelsea Frey. So Alex's boyfriend Finn is played by Michael Rowland. There is Johnny, played by Geordie Muller. Brad, the lawyer, played by Carl Allen. Then there's Garrett, played by Sebastian de Souza. Who else do we have? Catherine is married to Lucas, not Megan. So Catherine is played by Rachel Zeiger-Haag. There's Maria June, who plays Nina. Mrs. Howard, the school the head at school, is played by Danetta Lavina Grays. Old Man Sullivan, who runs the law firm that Brad works at, played by Jonathan Lipnick. We've got Jackson, played by Ben Warheit. Ellie, played by Lila Midkiff. Corrine, played by Ayana O'Raden. Danielle, played by Sabrina Mokhtar. Ezra, played by Luca Padovano. Sally Wyman, played by Mary Jo. I think that's probably our main, like, people, really. Yeah. I believe so. Oh, and there's Patrick Ewing, obviously, played by Patrick Ewing. Right? Yeah. I can't think of anyone else. Really, they are the main peoples of the film. The gist is this. A woman revisits her childhood aspirations, embarrassing to achieve her old embarrassing. That makes sense. Right, let's start that. A woman revisits her childhood aspirations, endeavoring to achieve her old goals, only to discover that pursuing these lifelong dreams takes her on an unforeseen and surprising journey. So that's the gist of all of this. It's actually adapted from a book of the same name, right? That was written by Lori Nelson Spielman, and it came out in 2013. Yeah, The Life List, right? It's one of those films, right? This really does depend on what kind of a romantic stories you gravitate to. That's the big thing with this film, right? In the synopsis, right? It's like, and her pursuing these lifelong dreams takes her an unforeseen and surprising journey. It's not unforeseen, and it is not surprising, right? This is just so obvious from jump. It's one of those films, right? It's one of those films, like, you just know what this is, and it is bizarre because, like, we have, like, her go through these supposed situations, but none of them, like, they're all so easy to resolve, and all the conflicts are just kind of like, what? You know what I mean? Nothing really carries any sort of gravitas. That's the big thing here. Like, the situation with Finn, that all just kind of, like, you know where that relationship is going, right? It's kind of obvious, but the way it all goes down, you're just like, what? Right? So we're not having a conversation. It's just, okay. Right. Even at the baby shower, when they're like, I'll meet you here. Then what my man does, you're just like, who's doing that? Right? Like, it was so just odd. Like, the film doesn't really add up. I think when you're trying to go, oh my God, this person knows these people. That's cool. Not many people know who these people. You have to pick someone, right, who isn't obvious. Like Patrick Ewing. I don't think you even have to know basketball to know Patrick Ewing. Because he became, bigger than, right? He had, I think he did trainers and just all other things. He's all over the place, right? So there's those, I think, players who only, people that follow the game will know. Right now, I was a huge Supersonics fan growing up, right? So Gary Payton and Sean Kemp were incredible players. If you watched basketball, you know who the fuck they are. But I don't know if the general public's gonna know the Rain Man, right? So if you were like, oh shit, Sean Kemp, that is better than, oh, you know who Patrick Ewing is? You know what I mean? And then it's just like, oh, I can't believe Patrick Ewing gave him you his detail. Like, why would? Because, it's trying to be like, oh, Alex is a great teacher. But even just seeing Alex in the classroom at the other school, I don't know what about that says she's a great teacher. Because she doesn't listen, right? She didn't do any of the background reading to work out, maybe how to connect with the kids or anything like that. It's just bizarre. Right? It's bizarre. You just, like, what the fuck was she doing? You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh, she doesn't connect with people. Right? Because it's not the character. You might have that written, right? It might be there in the script. Oh, she's this. But the way you portray it, it's not that. It's not that. Right? Like, Alex is a pretty dislikable character. Because it's just like, oh, getting all disgruntled with Catherine for no reason. Right? For no reason. She's a teacher, so why the fuck is she head of marketing? Why is she head of marketing with no experience? You know what I mean? It's just these weird things. But then it's just like, oh, she thinks that she should get the like, huh? And I think the film is bizarre in the fact that although she's got brothers and everything like that, they're not really a part of this, right? We get just the base level on both of them, not really anything else. It's the mum. She set out this project for Alex, right? There's nothing for the boys, which is kind of weird, right? You just think there's this weird dynamic in this family, even though, we're trying, the film's trying to tell us that everything is great and, they're loved and blah, blah, blah. But the way it's all kind of broken down it's weird. Right? It's just a little bizarre. The dad thing is just, it's like, I'm tired of these films that have someone who then finds out they're adopted. It's not really a spoiler, people. Really. Doesn't go anywhere. But then it's just, although supposedly came from a loving family and everything, like they didn't want for anything, but it's just like, I don't know who. Shut the fuck up, right? Like, there's people who literally have no clue about who they are. He didn't grow up in, scenarios which was just full of love and caring, but you know what I mean? But you have these entitled motherfuckers whining. You know, it's like people, you know, she's not in any way like, what am I trying to say here? Like, it's like she didn't really want for anything. It doesn't seem like she wanted for anything at all. But we're meant to give a fuck about this kid. But you're not giving us anything. Why? Right? Like, it's boring when you have people meet and at first, oh, they do not get on. But obviously, by the end of it, you know, we just play these games time and time again. The whole stand-up comedy thing. Firstly, now I know the States is different from the UK, right? There's more clubs to get spots at and everything like that. But the notion that she is, and you know, it seems like, oh, this is her first attempt, right? That she gets on the first time she goes, right? And then the whole other comedian thing, and it's like perfectly set up. Like, perfectly set. Like, come on. What? It was so contrived and terrible. Like, that bit, it was horrible. And I think all of these little list things seem to be that. You know, it's always like, oh, their favorite music was this really popular piece of music. Like, no one ever just goes, oh, yeah, they really like this more obscure piece. That's more interesting than being like, oh, yeah, they liked the big song that, you know, everyone's supposed to like. Like, just, it is, you know, again, I think it's one of those films that I guess it really does depend on what kind of romantic fare you enjoy. Like, I think if you probably liked the last few Bridget Jones, right? Basically 2 to 4. If any of those were your jam, you love those films, then The Life List will work for you, right? If you just like any of these recent rom-coms, The Life List will probably work for you. You know, it's not a film that really gets under the hood of what love is, what connections are. That's not what this does at all. You know, which is a real shame, because I think there is, you know, the opportunity to tell a good, intriguing story, but they just do not do it. Right? They do not do it at all. So, yeah, picture this, right? You know, what was it? The Fabulous Four. Just any of these recent rom-coms. If you enjoyed those, then, yeah, The Life List is probably for you, right? Probably for you. The acting is just, like, it's not the worst you've ever seen, but it's not lighting anything on fire. You know, we have these weird scenarios of people in relationships, but obviously, you know the ones that are going to work, the ones that do not work, but there is never anything substantial behind anything. Right? The reasons because for these things not working, these people not doing this, and bam, bam, bam. And even, like, the arguments, right? Like there's an argument about a dinner party, and really, the guy's kind of in some in aspects of it, he's right? Because if you invite someone over, but then all you do is have these in-joke conversations, and you're not really bringing this other outside person in, how are they enjoying the evening, right? How are they ever going to enjoy the evening? Like, oh man, yeah, it's a bizarre film. And a school student at a party, and it seemed the only one student at the party. Why? Like, you're like, why would this kid be at this fucking party? Like, oh man. But it's on Netflix. You know what I mean? It's on Netflix. So as I said, if you enjoy a certain type of romantic film, the Life List may be for you. And maybe you enjoyed the book, right? I've not read it, so I don't know how closely Brooks kept to the core material, what changes he may have made. But yeah, if you like the book, maybe you want to check the film out, right? But it's on Netflix, right? So yeah, people, have fun. Yeah, have fun, right? And enjoy the Life List.